guys, to pick up your tickets to the Red Bull Battlegrounds coming up November 24th and 25th.
I think that sounds about right. Same dates as MOG. I don't actually know the dates. If I qualify, then I'll look them up, but we'll have to see.
It'll be a great weekend for StarCraft 2. Guys, we are ready to jump into our third game, Macsed versus Hack on Whirlwind. You can see spawning down in the bottom right-hand corner, the blue Terran player representing StarTail. It is Hack. And Hack's opponent up in the top right. The red Protoss player from Invictus Gaming, it is Macsed. Mike predicted Nexus first this time from Macsed. I think that's always a good call on Whirlwind. A big map, hard to punish.
Could still be anything though. Kind of depends on what the player wants to do as well. We'll have to see what he's planning for. Hack, I think we'll see either the barracks first or the barracks with the Reaper.
We will see if he takes that early gas. I will say that in a Nexus first meta, if we know that's what we can expect, I like Hellion openings a lot. I think it's very difficult for a Protoss player to deal with the Hellions.
That's actually a good build on this map regardless of what opening the Protoss is going for. Because it's a 4-player map, and it's more difficult to scout early, a lot of the time the Protoss player will push out with his Mothership Core and his Stalker in this map. And if that happens right when the Hellions are coming into his base, then it can be disastrous for the Protoss player.
Yep, would force him maybe to recall back or just to run back really fast and take a lot of damage in the meantime. Macsed's not going to go Nexus first though, Mike. He's going to go Gate first, following up with a couple of gases. The player that is going super fast expand is Hack. He's gone Command Center first on the low ground.
Well, at least I was partially right in my predictions.
You were on the right track.
Yeah. You can never be 100% certain with a prediction before you've seen anything.
So rather than the Hack having the onus to punish Macsed, it's going to be the other way around. Now the same kind of Stalker Mothership Core pokes can be very annoying for the Command Center first player if he forgets that the bunker. But a single bunker really shuts that kind of stuff down pretty hard.
Yeah, and it's going to be incredibly hard for him to punish it by the time he scouts it, since it doesn't look like he's going for one of those quick probe scouts.
He's sitting in his main base. He's probably going to be dropping his own Nexus pretty soon. Now, Macsed has been known to mix it up and to, as you say, bring the queso from time to time. I would not be too terribly surprised to see him show us a DT opening at some point in this series.
Yeah, I think if he does a DT build, or a cheese on this map rather, I think it might be DTs, because this map doesn't favor a lot of other types of Protoss cheeses. Although you can blink into the main base with Blink Stalkers, from that one path on the ledge, it's not as easy to juke in and out of the main and the natural as it is in other maps.
Nexus down now for Macsed, his Mothership Core on the way. Of course, Hack is getting that bunker because he is a world-class player and is not going to take any damage from harassing things like Mothership Cores or Stalkers. Double barracks follow-up here for Hack. And still no gas, which has me wondering if we're going to see a fast third command center.
Oh, just a third
barracks.
barracks.
In fact, it's going to be a fast third barracks.
I think he should be taking to his gases pretty soon as well.
We'll keep an eye on that.
And there's a Stargate from Macsed, so maybe he wants to go for that same Colossi Phoenix style he did in the first game. It was very effective for him in that map. This map, I think it'll be a little more difficult because it's not as easy to defend your 3 bases as it is in Belshire Vestige.
We occasionally see things like Proxy Stargate on Whirlwind. That's not the case here, as Stargate going up in the back of Macsed's main base. He will, as you pointed out, probably do much what he did on Belshire. Probably going to open with the Oracle.
And these are
yep,
pretty good spawn locations for Macsed as well. It's a bit more difficult to do medevac drops in this position. It's still obviously possible and something that Terran will go for, but you just have to swing wider around the map because obviously if he takes that third base and his army is between the natural and the third, you can't sneak into the main without taking a long detour around the side of the map.
And that is a lot harder to do if your opponent has things like Phoenixes out on the map. Phoenixes are so good at just combating the medevac play that they can sometimes discontinue it altogether. Those gases did go down for Hack. No third command center yet. Instead, he is getting Stim and continuing to macro up.
And he's such a good player. He already has Marines getting into position for the Oracle right when it's about to go into his base. Hack just knows his timings perfectly, as do a lot of the top Terrans these days. Oracles can never be expected to get too many SCV kills with the Terran players. Playing safely, not taking any big gambles.
Yep. Great game sense, great preparation. Obviously, countless thousands of games of preparation leading up to this moment. Where is that? There's that Oracle. Flying around the natural. He's killed. Wow. That's actually a little bit sloppy. Macsed losing that Oracle with just a single SCV kill.
Yep, and now Hack, he can move out with his Marines if he wants to. He doesn't have to leave any Marines to defend his base since he just killed the Oracle. That helps him a lot. It's an incredibly nice pickoff. Doesn't need any missile turrets either.
Phoenix production has begun, so we will be seeing that same Colossus Phoenix play. As, once again, I failed to update the scoreboard because I am an observer noob, Mike.
It's okay. I'm an observer noob too, it's just I don't have to do the observing. So.
A little bit of a Marine poke coming forward here for Hack. He's going to make his way up into the natural. And there's not that many units that will force the Photon overcharge. He's even going to try to focus down a sentry or two, but that's all for naught.
Good control by Macsed, not losing a single unit. Picking off a decent amount of Marines, and these Stalkers might get a couple more as they try to retreat across the map.
They will give chase. One more Marine may very well fall. And will fall. Boom. Boom. All right, Mike. Colossus production underway. Phoenix production underway. Last time Hack was up against this, he made a third base, pulled his SCVs, and went for it. It did not work out.
Looks like he is moving to take that third base now. So, could be the same kind of style. Could just mean he wants to take a third base and play a macro game. Either way, a fast third now is one of the best choices to make against Phoenix Colossi. It's harder to put on that aggression on two bases against the Phoenix Colossi just because you have the Phoenixes to defend the drops.
Marines out on the map once more. There are no medevacs with them. I don't really expect Hack to get too aggressive here. Just going to hold the Zelnaga Tower for the time being, sending out one of those Marines to check and see if there is a third base. There is a third base. This player's starting their thirds at approximately the same time. Macsed always so good about his observer positioning. He's got a great idea for what units are out on the map just because of that, and we do see 16 Marines loaded up in a medevac, or 14 Marines in a Marauder.
Good positioning by Maxed's Phoenixes, though. We'll have to see if Hack can get anything more done with medevac traps this game than the first game against Colossi Phoenix. In that game, he just bled a few units here, bled a few units there. He didn't get any significant damage at all done with his medevac traps.
This one's going to unload outside the third base, so not actually going to risk running into these Phoenixes in open air. With stem will go down. They're going to run forward and see if they can cancel this Nexus. This would be a nice pickoff. Building Nexus taken. Oh, wow. Insta-cancel, and Macsed will have to rebuild. That's going to slow down his economy substantially.
Big mistake by Macsed with his observer positioning. He had one observer back, which is supposed to spot for these kind of attacks, but he had his army positioned by the natural, and the observer spotting for the entrance to the natural. So he had nothing watching for the units coming to the third base, which is kind of a big oversight in his build.
Redundant positioning for Macsed ends up biting him in the butt. Third base does finish up for Hack. He will go ahead and start mining there now. And his Viking production has also begun, Mike. He's already got 4 Vikings out on the map. He's going to need a lot of Vikings to fight the Phoenixes.
Double reactor starport already on the field, though. He can make a lot of Vikings at one time. And he doesn't really have the resources to produce 4 at a time yet, but he will very soon.
I'm a little surprised that Hack never scans his army, Mike. It's something that most top Terran players do frequently just to make sure that there's not an observer tracking them. Hack doesn't seem to like wasting the scans on that.
Yeah, I think he knows there's an observer that's going to be watching his army. It's kind of common in these days to have one observer just sitting over the Terran army. So that is kind of surprising. But I mean, if he scans it, Max will probably just send another observer over immediately after, so.
So Hack chooses to let it go.
Might indicate he's going for a timing attack. He just wants all the units he can get against the style Maxed's going for.
Man, this is a bloodthirsty Marine. Caught that probe and denied any kind of pylon from going up. Hack is going to start moving once more. And Macsed should know what's going on, again, because of this observer right here. Terran army takes the center of the map. Here is Macsed's force. It looks kind of small, to be honest with you. 74 army supply. Where is it all?
Well, he has a couple Phoenixes and some gateway units in his main base. I believe that accounts for a lot of it. The ground army is always a bit deceptive when you're going Phoenix Colossi because you have a lot less of it than you would normally.
Oh man, and Macsed seems way out of position right now, Mike. These Marines are going to stem and run way up into the natural. The Colossi cannot get involved in the fight, and Macsed's forced to micro from an awkward position. One Colossus is going to go down without doing any real damage. There is a huge Terran army in the main base of Macsed. Oh dear, now he's got to take his own ramp back, and that is not going to be an easy task. Colossi shooting up to the high ground, do a good job against the Bio Vikings, however, are doing a phenomenal job against the Colossi. Are the Phoenixes all dead? Yes, they are.
And he slips away now. He's dropping the third base as well. This is the exact correct move.
Oh,
Max has nothing in position.
Man,
He's gonna take out that
terrible
Nexus.
damage being dealt here. This third base is going to fall again. Macsed forced to just retreat with his warp in, and Hack has just dealt critical damage
And
to
now
our
Max
Chinese
is in a
Protoss.
horrible position. He has a lot more gateways out than he can support on his two bases, especially when he's trying to build Colossi and Phoenixes. He also lost his forges, and that's not something you wanted to happen.
Yep, and of course a lot less army supply than his opponent. 50 army supply to 100. I think all Hack wants to do here is recollect his forces and push for the win. 3 ghosts on the way. Viking production has continued 4 at a time.
And he has a lot of Vikings out. With these 4 that are just popping out now, he'll be at 16 Vikings against a measly 2 Colossi from Macsed. And oh, not good positioning, losing that first Colossi
2
instantly. Second one
Colossi
is
becomes
down.
0 very, very quickly. And Macsed taps out. Good game. Startail Hack, keeping his WCS dream alive, goes up 2-1 in this best-of-5 series.
And that's a good start for him. He's looked incredibly solid in all of these games as well. The one game he lost, he couldn't get anything done in his medevac drops. The other 2 games, he's just shown he knows when he's supposed to attack, where he's supposed to medevac